Check 1 2 1 2. Check 1 2. Good morning, everybody. Pedro and I will be with you shortly.
Jack love at last. I'm at peace with this vast blood. Only took a crash landing down in the trash mud to figure out why I've been so smashed up. Holy moly, lonely only when I'm coldly zoning, cozy in my holy home without my homie ceremonies, owning in my own, rolling through my dome, hoping that I'm only throwing stones to get you going. Maybe you could clone me, break the ache and make me hate the way forsaken snakes take their stake in what I make and break it. Baby, lay it on the plate.
Good morning, everybody. We're getting the show started. Well, Pedro and I are going to be with you in just a moment.
Know who it is, but I was like,
Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Welcome to DYOR Live here on the DYOR Media Network. My name is Tom, otherwise known as Striking, here in the digital media world. So glad to be hosting another episode of this award-winning show. The man in the box next to me is Pedro Garcia, the crypto chart analyst. Guess what? It's August 4th, 2025. It's one day closer to 2026. We're closer to 2026 than we are to 2024. If you can believe that, it's unbelievable. Monday madness in the markets, of course. Why? Because Trump talks, and Trump talks means that every Monday at 10 a.m., he releases something about tariffs, and it's become a pattern. Today, he delayed the EU tariffs in order to get a full trade deal together. So the market pumped right in the morning. BTC pumped. Nasdaq pumped. Good way to start a week off. But as Pedro says, if we're going to pump today, on Friday, we're going to dump. Also, as usual in the media, they are blaming in the Twitter sphere and BlueStacks and Blue Sky and all these people are blaming Trump for the Bureau of Labor Statistics hatchery and firing the people there. Well, guess what? They deserve to be fired. Why? Because the man in the box next to me here has been calling out that their data has been wrong for 2 years. For 2 years it's been wrong.
2 years. Sorry.
2 years. That's right. Hold on, let me just check.
Oh, they can't hear me?
No, they can hear you.
Okay.
They can hear you. Just checking to make sure. So Trump's taking the beating for that. But he's right. When you screw up your job for 2 years, like they screwed it up. Biden replaced the BLS person with a new lady a year ago. She keeps screwing it up, so she's out too. That's the only way you.
Taking a second to look into everything I can just bury beneath all the hate and the good in the way that they want to just make me believe in anything they can conceive. Keep it inside, I break with the flow. Give me your ride, I'll open the door. When we arrive, I look at my soul. Nothing to see, nothing to know. Don't you know me, homie? I be on these lonely roads, riding with my dumpies open, hoping someone sees me choking. Pulling the cover up over my eyes, starting nothing to restore my sight. But an emotion can't keep it inside. Freaking the beat, believe it's my mind. Wondering how other words in my head will be coming right back to the start of the beat. People been leaving their evil open, hoping that God will see them free. Learn to sail your inner ocean. Heart swollen, soul's frozen. Potion got me open. I can feel the bad omen. Lost in this moment.
bank or from like a from let's say the Fed or something like that. Like that is going to be nuts. I mean nuts, bro. Because anyways, that I expect that to sooner or later happen, and then they're going to have to figure out a way to get around that, and it's going to throw off the blockchain. But overall, I'm expecting something crazy like that sooner or later to happen. All right. So key point here is this: we're hitting this 8-period moving average, and we want to pierce this. Okay, this moving up in the beginning here, bouncing off that 50-period moving average. We're moving up. Now, is it going to hit it first, and then we're going to see it push through it? All depends on volume. So let's check to see the smaller time frames to see if we're seeing demand wicks as we're moving up. So this is the hour mark, right? So one of the things I always talk about is, okay, we got 3 and we got 1. We got 2, we got 2, and then we got another 2 right here. So it's 4 and 2, and then boom. And now remember, the demand wicks are the wicks which I talk about, whereas you have sellers coming in. So it's red first, it's going down. And then what happens? The buyers say, not in my park, sorry. And then they push it back up with buying, and we see it come back up. So it turns green. So when I see a big green wick, this is an indication of them saying that there are buyers stepping in that want to keep this thing moving up. And you can see here that as we were even coming down, they were putting in sellers and buyers at the same time. And so it was one of those moments you're like, this thing's going to continue higher, or if it does go lower, they're definitely going to be putting in position. So that's what we actually saw. Obviously, that 50-period moving average on the daily candles. So if you go to your daily, you can see here, this is where it hit, okay? And it hit on Sunday. So you can see here that when you go to that hourly chart, you can see right here on Saturday or Sunday evening, this was Saturday evening, but it's the Sunday candle. And you can see here that it came down, a lot of buyers stepped in, we saw it continue. And so as you can see here, if you looked at this, it was pretty clear that they wanted to push it higher. One being, we have 4 demand wicks, and we have 2 supply wicks. So that's them basically saying, hey, we want to push this thing up. And additionally to that, you can see once we got above the 8, it didn't really even want to come back and test that 8. Again, this is the hour chart, but this is one of those things you can sit there and say, all right, especially if you're having a huge sell-off, I want confirmation on my trade if it's going to go my way. So if we've had a huge sell-off, I'm not trying to catch a falling knife. Right, I'm gonna let it stick into the ground, and then I'm gonna let bang, you see the cartoon thing, right? It hits it, then I pick it up, right? Sometimes I catch the falling knife because I'm pretty sure it's gonna stop. But the majority of the time, I want to wait to confirm my trade. That's why I always say, get a game plan, follow that game plan, and then move forward. So in that same sense, we see it come up.
I'm gonna have a game plan right now, Pedro, and that game plan involves changing my chair out for a night.
There you go. Did we lose Tom? I think we lost Tom. Or did you lose me and I'm talking to myself? Oh, where? Oh, there's Tom.
I don't know what happened there. I just disappeared. Well, right as I started the ad.
So I was going to say the ad is right there. I see it. So I'm going to click on
All right,
that.
ladies and gentlemen. I'm at a temporary desk here today, and this chair is old and beat up, and it's not that comfortable. You'll see me hunching here. You'll see me slouching. Just not the proper chair. But if you're looking for a comfortable but unique option for your gaming setup, check out TechnisportsUSA.com. With a wide range of ergonomic chairs and an array of colors, you'll definitely bring your setup to the next level. Always comfy, never boring. Technisport. Use code RUMBLE for 10% off the entire order. Ladies and gentlemen, the Technisport QR code is right here next to me. Go ahead and click that and show our advertisers that we're an interactive audience and let them know that Pedro and Striking sent you. Check them out. If you're looking for a new chair, TechnisportUSA.com. A wide range of ergonomic chairs and an array of colors. You will definitely bring your setup to the next level. Always comfy, never boring. So check them out. Also in your comment section, there's a learn more. Go ahead and click that. and visit our sponsors. And thank you to Technosport for sponsoring this segment. All right.
Nice. Technical chairs. Boom. I got me and my little, when Tom comes visits me next week, he's going to see I have a very humble setup. I like to keep things very simple unless it's cooking. And then I'll make it difficult because I'm about to have fun. Anyways, so let's continue here. As we continued up, you saw that they were putting in more demand wicks and not as many supply wicks. They wanted to keep pushing it up. You had one or two right here, but then you definitely saw bigger ones come in right here. So you knew it was going to continue. Now, once it came back to this area, you can see that the supply wicks started picking up more, right? But as we came down to the lower areas or come back for liquidity area, you saw it come back and you saw the demand wicks. So right now, I'm basically just watching to see, as we were moving higher, are we seeing an increase in supply wicks, those seller wicks, right? Or are we going to start seeing an increase in demand wicks? So right now, we're kind of starting to see an increase of supply wicks as we push higher. That also makes sense because we're coming up into the daily 8. So this daily 8, the daily candle right here, is coming into this 8-period moving average, which is basically one of my areas that I use as a dynamic zone that basically moves back and forth. And it can move. And so you can a lot of times use it as an area of liquidity. And in addition to that, it allows you to be able to make a little bit of money while you're doing it. So that's always nice. Now, let's talk about Ethereum, because Ethereum is gangbusters. It came down. It literally, dude, so I don't know who this was, but somebody came and sold off a bag and it got ate up by the market. Like Jaws on freaking I'm not gonna say that. Okay.
I don't have the sound machine running, otherwise I'd play the Jaws.
No, we didn't want to say that. That was literally popped in my head. I was like,
why need a bigger boat?
Gonna need a bigger boat. That's a good one. So you can see here over the weekend, we definitely came in and they were buying up a lot. You can see all the buyers stepping in. And then once we finally got to the end right here, roughly around this area, you can see that the sellers kind of pushed everything. They offloaded all their stuff. They said, all right, we've been shorted this whole entire period. We're going to offload it and push it off. And you can see that actually with the shorts coming in, they definitely pushed off a lot of their shorts. They weren't trying to short more. They were actually trying to take off their shorts. So you can see the shorts drop off, and we'll go into that later here. But you can see that I knew once that was happening, then they were going to accumulate again and then start to push up. So we'll find out what happens, but I'm expecting it to pull back a little here in the same sense. Now, if Ethereum really starts to catch wings here, again, I'm expecting Ethereum to get to a 13,000 price point area here, 13, 14 potentially, right? And so with that said, we want to, if you're looking to catch Ethereum, this is a nice little cool pullback. Right now we're coming up to all-time high, so I'm expecting us to get back up to that 43.55 to that 48.82 area. Now again, expect a pullback, right? We're going to see something kind of like this, boom, right? Kind of come in, hit that, come back. And the reason why I hit that low is because see how this is the previous high? I expect us to come and hit that area, the previous high, and then go up. Now we may come back down to a little bit further. I expect the 8-period moving average. I call it the seesaw effect, where it goes down and then up. And then when it hits up, when we see price move up, that's when you see it pull back. And so that's what so we see price move up, boom, hit that, come back down. We have that zone area right here. We come and hit that, and we go back up and hit that again. So that's kind of what I'm expecting to see what happens. If it starts to detour from that, or if it starts to differ from that, then I'm going to definitely have to reevaluate, but I'm almost positive that's what it's going to do. And so that's what I'm looking for. And so if you're looking to, if you think you've lost the trade and you're like, dang it, listen, there's always going to be a pullback. Okay. I'm not always, but almost always. I mean, like,
right.
I'm just saying, the banks are greedy. They like, they like taking your money and then taking your money again. So, Really?
Excellent.
Excellent. I was thinking about Fire Marshal Bill. Sorry. All right. So that's what I was thinking. He's like, and then he's all, really? Anyways, okay. Let's see what's going on here. Let's talk about the news events coming this week and what we're going to see happening here. Now, it's really important to pay attention here because this is really unique thing that could happen. So we've got next month's stuff coming up in the first week. We got for July, we got the isms happening. PMI is going to be happening on Monday. Then you have the isms at 7, which is going to be 11 o'clock West Coast time. Then that was supposed to be weekly.
What, Pedro? What are the isms?
It is the index service managers. It basically is the what is. I'm blanking. Come on, isms. Pop in my head. Isms. It's the non-manufacturing
is it one that moves the market,
index,
or is it just
basically.
an extra thing?
No, everything. Everything moves the market because they're all interplay. They've decentralized everything so well doing this is that they can actually come out with a number and it could differ from the actual real number. It's almost like splitting an orange in half, right? And then you remove some of the metrics that one orange needs to have and another orange. Oh, that's the wrong analogy. You know, it's like bacon, lettuce, tomato. All right, let's use bacon, lettuce, tomato, okay? It's like, everyone knows this is what bacon, lettuce, and this is what they used to have back in the day, like 20 plus years ago, no, 30, 40 years ago. This is what it was about. And you could actually gauge what was actually happening in the economy. But because your and my expectations of the market and what's going to happen will dictate really what the market happens. So if I and you are like, you know what, I'm seeing a lot of people at my work get laid off or seeing hours being cut back, I'm going to start holding on to my money. I'm going to start paying down my debt. I'm going to start going through, and if I'm going to let my car insurance, or not my car insurance, but I'm going to let my life insurance go. That was one of the mechanisms that I always look at, right? Is when you know a market is happening and falling apart, when people start to lose and let their life insurance go, or maybe lapse on their car insurance. Two, when you see people going through and that FU job that basically you can hop to another one starts to deplete, and you don't have the ability to jump to a next job. Also, there are a few other mechanisms that I use regarding charting that kind of are mine, why I can dictate which way the market is really moving. But there are certain mechanisms that I use from a fundamental analysis. One, payroll. We're going to see like last week we had payroll announcements, and basically payroll announcements was just singular. We saw people losing jobs, and in a sense, this is why that lady lost her job because of, just. So
there's been some good memes about that. Payroll down, and the lady's holding a stick with a runaway bag on the back of it saying, "I know."
What was even more interesting, and people aren't talking about this, is the Fed lady who basically resigned over the weekend. And she basically was a Biden hire. And she always sided with Powell many times when he would talk about keeping rates high. Now, I've talked about this multiple times here on the show, that the Fed's balance sheet is really high, and they're not making money, and they're not able to give dividends to a lot of banks in the US. And in additionally to that, they aren't really making money per se, okay? And the reason why I'm saying this is by Powell keeping rates high, okay, he kind of replenishes the reserve that they have, so they can pay out other banks and people who are loaning into the Federal Reserve. The most important thing to understand here is this, and we talked about this earlier, where I was saying the things that feed us, that feed that they feed on was going higher. And I said I felt like that was artificially being pushed up on the chart, that somebody was out there buying it. Somebody, and additionally to that, that also pushes up the prices of inflation and foods and goods and services, because everything kind of revolves around that. And so when I was looking at this, and we talked to, I forget when that was, but I wish we had that AI that had everything, because we could just simply type in and say, hey, when did I talk about this? So I can give reference to that to people.
I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah, I'm just saying. But on the back end, when you're looking at this market at large, I feel like inflation wasn't justified. Like, it just wasn't justified based off of what was happening, because you saw jobs kind of dropping. We saw payroll dropping. We saw hours being dropped. Okay. We saw a lot of these circumstances actually happening. And then, in additionally to that, housing is dropping as well, right? We see it kind of steady, then drop, then steady, then drop. And so that's why we always go here. That's why you always see me go to the U.S. debt clock.
Down 8% in July alone.
Mm-hmm. But more importantly, I like looking at home sales, looking at new home sales and existing home sales here. And so this gives us a good understanding. And that's why I take the screenshot. And then in my own, and I encourage you guys to do this, take a screenshot twice a month, one in the beginning and one in the middle of the month, okay, or weekly, and you can line them up. That's what I do. And you can see it dropping at the level with new home sales and with existing home sales. Now, it's going to be really interesting to see a lot of these numbers as we start to progress here, because now that literally, and again, I'm not pro-Trump, nor am I against Trump. I'm just seeing him as just a person who's trying, once he brought the new bill into effect and saw him really, really raise rates and basically pander to the people who really wanted to increase the debt, I sat there and I said, I don't know if I can be him for him. Again, I'm a libertarian, so I look at things as a smaller government. I was hoping that he was going to bring in more of a smaller government, but it looks like he's kind of raising and increasing the government size in relationship to its hands in private industry. And that unnerves me a little. But I said, that's like annoyance and nerves, unnerves. Anyways, so let's go to move forward here, because I want to bring this up here. If we start to see Ethereum pick up and starts to push, okay, then you're going to see Bitcoin most likely push as well. And we're going to see it push past these points that we're seeing. So if we see Ethereum really push past the all-time highs, I'm expecting everything on Ethereum to really take off and really get going, right? And so, because when the tide rises, all boats go up with it. When the tide comes in, all boats rise with the rising tide. And so this is what I'm looking to see. And then if we see that, what are we going to see? There is a large portion of altcoins that are on Ethereum. So we're going to see that rise up as well. And as that rises, then you'll expect your monies to go higher, right? And so with that same correlation, we will then see BTC also pick up steam and get going as well. So these are those nuances that I'm looking at and paying attention to. Also, we've noticed that there's been quite a few of coins that have been now launched over on BNB. So again, just like we saw with the ICO craze, right? And this bull run, again, one of the things I talked about is I'm expecting to see a potential 1,800 BNB, right? The high, 1,800, maybe 14, 20, maybe 20, 18 to 2,100 BNB is what I'm expecting, right? To see us really get up and go. And so if we can see it, if we see that, then again, a lot of, we're going to see, I don't even remember how we would expect at least a 10X. I wouldn't be shocked. And I'm not joking when I say this, is in this next 3 to 4 months, that to see, you might get upset if you don't get 100X. Yeah. Because, you'll be, just how we were like, oh, we only got a 10X. I think, again, this is Pedro-isms now, all right? This isn't like, this is my conjecture, all right? And the
100X, bitches.
Yeah, like you're like, oh, we only got 100X. Oh, we only got, oh, this one hit 1,000. This one hit 5,000.
I only made 5 million there.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing, because as we start to see, again, they're going to keep raising. One, they're going to drop rates. They're going to keep spending money in the government. So they'll drop rates, which will make money easier to get. We'll also see, and now that we have the Genius Act and the Stablecoin Act, this gives crypto the ability to be able to tap into, guess what? Scary, traditional finance borrowing. And they are chomping at the bits right now to get into crypto. And so they're going to be like, here's money, here's money, here's money, here. There's a money for you. There's a money for you. There's a money for you, right? Like these are the type of things we'll see happening here. Again, this hasn't happened yet. Just like I talked about Dems having to come over and have to subside to Bitcoin or to crypto, just like I talked about, hey, the numbers are faking out and I don't like it, and I know there's something that's going wrong here and somebody's messing here. Just, I can keep doing this, right? Probably like 5 other times. I bring this as an example. When I sit there and I look and I analyze it, this is what I expect to see, right? And so there's going to be so much money coming into crypto from TradFi. And remember, we're talking about an infinite circle trying to fit into a finite circle, because most cryptos are finite.
Right.
And so if we, and this is what you want to be paying attention, if we start talking again about raising the debt ceiling, okay, and really pushing it, they might even say, let's just get rid of a debt ceiling altogether and just let it go. Yeah. And that's my biggest fear. If we start to see that, expect crypto to just explode, because it's the new asset in which it is the most efficient. It is more efficient than the current fiat system right now. So as we start to move forward, this is going to be one of the things I'm expecting to see happen. I hope I am wrong, but most likely not. Just saying. All right. So with that said, that's why I'm giving these big numbers here. Right? BNB, I said, it's going to be crazy, but to see it get 18 to potentially 24 is something that we could see if we start to see this thing really pick up and go. Will TradFi try to just hinder it through options? I don't think they will. I think they want to push up the market because it boosts their pocketbook a lot. So that's why I'm expecting to see. Now, BNB is coming up to the crossover here. It is not as strong. It's not as strong as Ethereum, but it is strong. And so it's important to pay attention to here is that if I start to see an increase, let's say today, of the volume where I see it get up to like right here to the average volume, okay? Average volume is 337,000. If I see it get up to that high, and then we see this week supersede it to where now we're seeing 350, 400,000 BNB on a daily basis being traded, that's when I'm saying, okay, this thing's going to get going. And so I'm looking at these nuances, how they interplay, how we're seeing money pulled out here, going to here, and then money pulled out here and going into here. So it's going to be really interesting as we move forward here. As I burp in your ear, I'm sorry.
Pedro, I pretty much ever since BNB started running up from 200 again, we've been watching it. Our viewers have been watching it, very interested, specifically Crypto Mike. Mm-hmm. I believe he's a long-term holder of that. Our coin market cap portfolio is a long-term holder of that. And I've always had that concern that well, I'll just say that Binance has been manipulating the price. Obviously, there's plenty of crypto manipulation. But what I want to understand from viewers or the markets or articles, people, if you see them, is if there's any fundamental reason that Bitcoin or BNB is moving a lot. Because as we know, it's based not on Ethereum, not on Bitcoin. It's its own token. It's its own blockchain. What usage is coming to drive that price up? Why are people buying it? Are people just buying it as an investment to hold? Or is there a usage? Or is there like gaming going crazy on BNB? Or is a metaverse thing that's going nuts using BNB? What's causing people to come in and buy it and drive the price up? I don't have an answer for that. I was just putting it out there. There has to be some reason other than hopium that's really pushing it up. And for it to get up to that 1,600 level, 2,000 level, that's a lot of money coming into BNB. I mean, it has a big market cap, and for it to double or triple, it needs a lot of liquidity coming into it, which I would hope it does, because a strong BNB is, frankly, I believe is good for all of crypto. Because I reading articles, looking at things, you can still see that Binance still has a massive effect on the market, and we all know this is independent from Binance. Wink, wink. It's still their internal token. It's still their company is based on it. But I would love to know what the hell is going on here.
So what I think is actually happening is they're going to take Binance America, and I think what they're going to do is I think they're going to make America they're going to make Binance home base America, an American company. And I think who's actually buying it is potentially institutions. We already know now again, I don't have any inside information. I don't know. But if I was an executive over at Binance, I would sit there and say, we need to get into America. We need to make it a home for us, because we would be able to take part in infinite wealth. But more importantly, also, we could be able to come under a guise where if we were an American-based company, and at any point in time, they could, if things switched, they could move their home back to either, I believe they're in Canada or are they in Dubai?
Still banned in Canada.
All right, so then they would be in Binance, or they would be in.
I think they're a Singapore-based company with also headquarters in Seychelles and that type of stuff.
Okay, so either way, I'm expecting this to. I think it's going to be brought into America, and I think what we're seeing is really institutional money coming in and kind of buying it up, and then they'll probably go through and add more ways, because really if you think about it, all Binance really is a broker house, right? That you can come in, you can launch coins on it. In addition to that, they also have a lot of trading on Binance Finance, right? Where you can sit there and trade it. You can trade a lot of coins. So it's like they're basically the crypto decentralized side, but not decentralized side of Goldman Sachs, right? Like they are top tier, because just think about their chain, what they do. At least that's how I see them.
Right. Before you see anything else, I've got a small timer here that I need to pay attention to.
Mm-hmm.
I brought up gaming a minute ago and why BNB may be pumping, wondering if the gaming market was helping do it. I brought up the metaverse thing. But this segment is sponsored by AIM Controllers. Welcome, AIM, back to the show. Are you ready to level up your game? AIM Controllers are where custom meets unbeatable value. And right now, it's the best deal of the year. We start with official Sony and Xbox controllers, fully compatible with console and PC, no functionality lost. No. Then you go wild with custom features, smart bumpers, paddles, grips, stick height, custom buttons, even design your own PS5 snap panels. And here's the part no one else is doing. Pay attention, ladies and gentlemen. Lifetime warranty on all modified parts. How about that? You guys with the big hands that just smash controllers? Yep. Lifetime warranty. What other company does that? Exactly, right. None. Normally, a fully loaded setup could run you $400, but during our one price promo, it's just 209 USD or 182 euros. No matter how many features you add. Use code RUMBLE at checkout and lock it in. This is your sign to get in. Go to aimcontrollers.com and build the last controller you will ever need. aimcontrollers.com. Use the code RUMBLE or click this link right here, ladies and gentlemen. If you're watching us on TV, hold up your phone and go pow and show our advertisers that their segment sponsorships are worth it. Also in the comment section, there's a learn more link right now. And if you're watching this on the replay, down in the description here on Rumble and in YouTube, there is a link to this as well. Thanks to AIM Controllers for sponsoring this segment of DYOR Live.
Thank you, AIM. Appreciate you. Okay, let's check this out here real quick. Boom. Oh,
and while Pedro's doing that, ladies and gentlemen, I see we have a bunch of viewers on Rumble as usual. Remember, if you're watching on your smart TV, there is probably a chance that you are not logged in. But, however, it's easy to create an account, and it's free to do so. While Rumble does have a $99, $89 with our code premium membership, which you get no ads and access to premium content, it's worth it. But you can start a free account and just log in, and it allows you to like our video, to follow us, to repost it, and all of those things, and to comment here and ask questions on the show. All of those things help us. And it's not because, as I always say, it's not because we need likes or we have to chase the interaction or stuff like that. What your interaction with our video does is it shows Rumble that people are enjoying this content and like it. And they will show you either more content similar to it or push our video out to more people similar to you. So that is what we're looking for. So if you could help us out and create an account and follow us. If you're watching on TV, just pick up your phone, go to rumble.com, and you can log in with your Google or Facebook ID and that type of stuff. Thank you. Back to you, Pedro.
Thank you very much. So as you guys can see here, one of the things I also wanted to bring up here as we move forward into the economic calendar. So isms is basically manufacturing. It's not manufacturing. And what it is they go through and they check out what is service companies that have business coming in, or is it dropping? It's really what it's about. And so, and also in that, if you have business coming in, then we're seeing employment leaving or employment picking up. So that's one of the things you want to be paying attention to. So you have ism prices as well as also the manufacturing. They're two different things, but that's what you want to be looking at. Then on top of that, on Wednesday, we actually have not 10-year note. That's actually going to be really interesting, the 10-year note this week, because bonds, we've been talking about, we'll jump again. I'm all over the place here today, but it's super important to be paying attention to. Let's check out bonds here, because we've been talking about bonds and how we expect them to push up and get going. And sure enough, on Friday, we saw the explosion push up. We're seeing the continuation come in today. And I'm expecting that they really get going on our 10-year, which is ZN is the moniker for bonds on the CME. And then the N is 10-year. So I really don't know why they built that or have it that way, but yeah, that's what it is. But bonds, I'm seeing this move here. And again, we've talked about us coming up to that 22 area, 121, 122 area here. And right now we're sitting about that 12. So you could take a nice little, like they have micros on the CME that you can take part in. And again, this is not financial advice, it's on educational and entertainment purposes only, but I'm definitely looking really to wait for it to get up and go. We've been talking about this now for almost 6 months. Back in July, here we are. Back in July here, January, we saw a dip down and then pushed up all the way up to that 114 area. But because of some of the tariffs and a couple of the other things that have been happening, we're expecting this thing to push up. Now, one of the things I also want to add to this is the US dollar, and it kind of came back and pulled back. So we hit the 100 area here. We saw the pullback here, but we're seeing it kind of pick up even more still. Like don't get freaked out by this pullback. It always pulls back. It's coming back and hit liquidity here. And so I expect it to kind of go down a little bit this week and then push back up and put in the next leg up. Now, what's important here is to understand the copper and gold relationship. And we'll go more into that tomorrow, but just understand that the huge sell-off in copper here was a huge like it was a bad thing. It was not a bad thing, but I'm expecting it to go down because, as I've said for a while, I don't believe that China's economy is booming. We know that they're having major issues. And also, a lot of people are losing jobs because of the tariff situation. And it's exacerbated a lot of other situations now within their nation. And so, one being hunger. And in the other part, when that happens, we start to see people get hungry and don't get fed. What do we see? People die. And so, that increase in the economy is going to be really, really hard. Now, one of the ways that they could do is do a lot of social programs in China to actually help out with a lot of food. But again, the idea that copper could sell off all the way down here is kind of crazy. And this is more important because as the US dollar drops, it makes the price for copper, and we've talked about this here on the show, it makes the price of copper go up because a lot of times what happens is, since the US or since the dollar is the medium of exchange and another outside nation can go through, when our dollar goes down and their dollar goes up, they can buy more copper, okay? But here's the problem, right? We've been seeing this push up there, but the US dollar, as it's been dropping, we've also seen a slowdown in actual trade going on in the world because of what's actually happening with the tariffs and everything that's correlated there. Now, people have tried to get going on the idea of copper here, or people have tried to get going on, what's it called? I'm sorry, guys. People have tried to buy more, but the reality is they need American dollars to come into their economy so they can buy more of whatever they need. But since there's been a huge slowdown, it's almost like this, like it's a checks and balance that kind of happens here. So the fact that we saw a huge push up in copper was really interesting. And so we'll go into the gold and dollar, the gold and copper and dollar ratio and what's actually happening there tomorrow in detail. But I just want to make this quick little synopsis of the fact is that we're seeing this sell off. I think we're going to see it more of a sell off because we're going to see a slowdown in production around the world. And I don't think Trump's going to be able to really get going on those buildings, a lot of the manufacturing that he wants to get going. So because I think we're going to see we've been in a recession, even though they haven't called it a recession. And I think we're going to go into some form of a depression here because we're going to see things just kind of halt. And then things will kind of chill, and then we'll see what happens there. But when they lower rates, stuff's going to hit the fan, and it's going to be nuts.
Pedro, that big move in copper on one day, what was that, like last Thursday or something?
Yep.
Was there any news driving it that day? Did Trump announce more tariffs on copper? Or?
Yep, 50%.
Oh.
Yeah. Which dropped. It's interesting that America, I think, produces, out of the top 10 who produce copper, I think we're 7. No, is it 5 or 7? I forget exactly. If you want to look that up, either 5 or 7 of the top producers. I mean, it's really China, I believe, Chile, Brazil, and a couple other ones that produce the majority of the copper. So it was really interesting that, like, America, like Trump had that much power, it's literally dropping the market. And it begs the difference.
Drop the crude oil market, might as well be able to drop the copper market.
Yeah. Well, what's interesting is that in that position, as that's actually happening, it shows, was there real demand to push up the price that high? You know, was there enough real demand? Because if there's enough demand, it's not going to push. Like I've talked about how crude oil, there's not enough demand here to actually keep pushing it up. People are not driving as much. People aren't going on vacation this summer. Most resorts are seeing a drop in attendance. We're not seeing people fill up their gas and going, cross country unless you're Tom. So,
Holiday road.
And so, like, this is where it's like, if Trump can sit there and say, no, stop that crap, is there enough demand to truly keep it going? And that's where it's like, I don't think there is. I think it's kind of being pushed up more by speculators and maybe other foreign nations to kind of play in this market, kind of trying to do what America does. But the thing is America just has so much more money, and our dollar is the reserve. So it's almost like we can get in 2 punches, we can get in 3 punches before you get 1 punch in, you know. So it's kind of a hit. It's the hegemon and strength of America in relationship to our dollar. And anyhow, so let's go ahead and move forward here. Next one, boom. It's always hard for me to get through this stuff here, so I like going through it on Monday, so we can go from there, or we can go through it, and then I don't have to worry about trying to get through the main top 10. Like I said, we refer to yesterday's stuff. So Tron has hit the all-time high here. Not all-time high, excuse me. Tron has hit this midpoint here. It pulled back. It's continuing higher. I expect it to continue higher. I expect us to get back up to that 45, pull back a little, and then continue higher as well. But this one area, that 133, the pullback here was basically negligible. I mean, literally came down to 31 cent from that 34 cent, and now it's pushing them. I mean, I guess it's 10% or 9%, but either way, it's still like comparative to other drops that they had in crypto over the last few days. This is basically just kind of pushed it off and move forward.
Well, welcome Wally from Mindful Meta, or Wally Mindful Meta, watching this on YouTube. Thanks for joining us. Really appreciate it.
Definitely. Wally, talk to us. Where are you coming from? How did you find us?
Wally, thanks for joining the show. We are live every day, 12 to 2 during the week, Eastern time. We talk about financial markets, the crypto markets, the day trading markets, that type of stuff. And we're actually live, not that fakeo webinar, fake live stuff. And we take your questions and stuff like that. So come one, come y'all.
AIM controller, go check them out. Chuck, nice. Okay.
So it's Alpha Wolf.
I know. Yeah, I know.
I didn't know that. Oh, I did know that. Yeah. Oh, Alpha.
Okay.
So I got a score of 2 on my comments.
What's up? Have a nice little good bounce on this area here. Over the weekend, we came down to Doge's lower area here at that 18 cents there. Now we've got to see a pretty good amount of volume coming today if we're going to break through this 8. If not, Doge is going to be coming lower as I caught. Come on, Pedro. All right. So you can see here, as we gapped up, we pushed up, we're hitting this area right here. This is a convergence of the 200 period moving average, the 400-day period moving average, as well as you have the 100-day period moving average. So you've got a lot of moving averages sitting here. That basically shows that it's going to be kind of hard for it to really kind of continue. So if the market goes up, we start to see it just kind of skyrocket. Doge is going to hit some resistance and then continue up higher. But again, it all depends if they can get enough volume and enough hype. Everything in crypto, as we all know, is hype. So if they get enough hype, they can get it going. If they come out with something cool, or Elon says something cool about it, like, oh yeah, it will be good for him. Even him just
yeah,
Yes. All right, so do we have any cool news? Any cool news events that happened over this weekend that we can talk about?
One of the things that give me 1 second, I was just answering my daughter here.
That's okay.
And trying to get the mini graphics machine going, but hold on, wait, let me grab that browser. I'm working remotely, so instead of having 9 monitors,
yes, no
I've got 1 here.
It is all good.
All right,
man. While you're doing that, I can go over the top stories over the weekend if you want me to.
No, I wanted to let me show you my screen here. The Trump-backed American Bitcoin nears public listing. Another Trump crypto initiative. It's possible that the president may become the largest whale in other than the people like Michael Saylor and OG Bitcoin people very quickly here. Not sure if that's a good thing. But anyway, American Bitcoin Corporation, the Trump family-backed Bitcoin mining firm, is nearing completion of its merger with Griffin Digital Mining, and it's going to go public on Nasdaq. Think of this: the sitting president of the United States is supporting a company, and I don't usually the deal is with them is that there's a marketing agreement, so there's not actual operational stuff. But I don't know the details of this. But he's supporting a company that's going to go public during his administration. You know what? I'm really cool for the open markets. I'm not cool about this. I've watched too many episodes of the West. Trump is pushing crypto. I really think he should personally and family-wise take a back seat during this. I realize it is a golden age of growth in crypto, and he's the president during it. But it's kind of tough for me to think that the sitting president has interest in a company that's going public during his term. Anyway, on July 31st, Griffin filed a proxy statement with the SEC, officially setting a shareholder vote for the proposed merger with the Trump organizations, ABC. First announced in May. I don't know how I missed it. I follow these Trump news all the time. Griffin, a publicly traded Bitcoin miner listed under Nasdaq ticker as GRIP. ABC raised $220 million in private equity placements in the last month. Now think about that. I think sometimes, I hate to say this, Pedro, but sometimes I can see where Elizabeth Warren is banging her head on the desk. You know, sometimes I can do it, as much as we call her the crazy old woman yelling at clouds. But anyway, according to the prospectus, the new company ABCTC owns about 10.7 exahashes of Bitcoin hash rate, which is a lot. The weighted average fleet, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to go into the details. But ABC is backed by the sons of President Donald Trump. Eric Trump is expected to hold a $367 million stake in the company once it completes its Nasdaq listing. Now, think about that for a minute.
What is it worth?
After the company goes public, Eric Trump's value will be $367 million.
Well, here's the thing. Well, here's the thing. If the company's worth $50 billion, he's got a small portion in it. How much is the company worth?
I don't know. It all depends on what it goes at. I'm not going to go into the numbers of this article because it'll bore us forever.
We'll put in ChatGPT and have it.
I'm not going to do that right now. Let's see. I'm going to click the link and see what it says.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. It's a Bloomberg article. Well, regardless, I don't think that's the point of how much the percentage it is. I think the point is that there's been no greater income generating opportunity for a sitting president and his family members than there has been now with crypto. Frankly, it's mind-boggling, and it's clear why, crypto gets a big push. I'm sure every senator and House of Representative person is going to be in on the IPO early and write their little papers and put it in the envelope or the basket that they need to. I'm sure, every crypto insider that's a accredited trader will be getting in on the IPO. And then when the MAGA masses FOMO into this, a week later when they hear about it, there's going to be a lot of exit liquidity coming in. And it's just one of those things that's hard to wrap your mind around, that a sitting president does this. And I'm not going to go on about that. I mean, it's great for our industry, obviously, but I think the self-dealing aspects of it are kind of a lot.
Well, what's interesting is like, so the good thing behind it, I mean, I don't like it. It very much frustrates me. I don't like the fact that he is meddling, and him and his family are right behind this stuff, right? I don't like it. But here's the thing, right? Like, how much did we also see the Democrats behind scenes meddling and really pushing? I mean, I remember seeing how, was it Melania Trump that was worth $100 million, right? When she turned, like, what was it, 21, 22, because all these special things that she did, and then all of a sudden she was no longer worth that amount, and it went into, now Obama was worth $100+ million, right? So it's done on both ends again, and I brought this up multiple times, how I agree with you. Like, the term limits need to happen. Like, you cannot keep doing what we're doing. And in additionally to it, people are profiting in a way where it's just not okay. Like, it's just absolutely not okay. But if America doesn't do it, another country is going to do it.
No doubt about it.
And here's the thing.
No doubt about it. But it just rubs me the wrong way when there's a push, one arm of the government pushes against insider trading, or at least not illegal insider trading, but legal insider trading, and making sure everybody has the same shot at it. But without a doubt, the Trump family has a far larger advantage than even other similar wealthy families for creating investment and value because of the connection to the president. Anyway, I'm going to move on past that, Pedro. There's some other things that are just as important too. One of the big barriers to tokenized stocks and ETFs and all that, and I've talked about pricing oracles for a long time, is that having fast real-time access to pricing, updated pricing, is very important. And with automated market makers in the crypto world, every transaction launches a change in price, so you never have to worry about the price being stale because each new transaction moves the price. However, with financial instruments, especially in crypto, in which the price is linked to something outside the blockchain, you need to update that very quickly, and you need to be able to update it in a way that can be faster than even the fastest amount of transactions on your blockchain. A great example is the old Titan coin that Mark Cuban was in with their stable coin. It was an algorithmic stable coin, and it relied heavily on an outside pricing oracle, which gave accurate pricing for everybody in order to arbitrage the difference and this and that and this and that. It worked well until it didn't. Until it didn't. And it didn't because volume went up very quickly, and the volume and the price was changing. The demand and supply was changing on the blockchain faster than the external pricing oracle could update the price. People took advantage of that. Bam, Titan went to zero or something like that. And there's been other examples of external pricing things going wrong. And so blockchains and other groups that wanted to trade real world assets that are real estate, that are cars, investments in watches, never had to worry about that stuff. But people that want to trade stocks, tokenized bonds, tokenized derivatives, that type of stuff, that needs live pricing information. And we haven't had that yet. However, I saw this article today about Chainlink. They're debuting a real-time market data for tokenized stocks and ETFs. It says right here, Chainlink has launched data streams providing real-time pricing for U.S. equities and exchange-traded funds. And so blockchain networks can use that. It says this service delivers high frequency. This is the key point here, ladies and gentlemen. When you start asking questions, that word high frequency, it ultimately needs to say higher frequency than the blockchain itself. For assets such as the spiders, the Nasdaq, NVIDIA, Apple, Microsoft, etc., the data is now accessible across 37 different blockchains. Well, this is interesting because if that data is available on a blockchain, that means we can get it for free, which means we don't need to subscribe. We don't need to pay for the expensive APIs. that the CME and the New York Stock Exchange charge and Nasdaq charges. That's interesting. Anyway, developers can utilize the on-chain data to build tokenized financial products, specifically enabled our tokenized stock trading, perpetual futures contracts, synthetic ETFs. Chainlink states that the infrastructure meets institutional-grade reliability standards. Great, but is it fast enough? And have they stress tested it? Anyway, we could go talk about this at length for a long time. But I've followed the kind of the pricing oracle topic for a long time, because one of the first papers I wrote on things going wrong, in which I used for a script for Rugged, Ruined, and Wrecked, was the demise of Titan and how it relied on a pricing oracle that was correct, but it wasn't fast enough. And the whole project went to zero because of it. So, Pedro, I thought that was a good advancement in the market, with someone finally coming out and being able to provide updated stock pricing so people can arbitrage or just, develop utilities that are based on correct pricing. Very difficult to do, and I'm going to follow this to see how they do it. Also, Pedro, I forgot to mention that I do need to get going at about 1:40 today, because the Mrs. Striking and I are driving back to Ottawa, and we need to get going.
All right, well, that's about it. I mean, we'll do Technical Tuesday tomorrow if you need to get going. I mean, I've already kind of gone over what I wanted to with Bitcoin. We can go over Matic in the top 10 real quick. And we'll finish off. Actually, let's finish off the.
Before we do that and lose some of our viewers, Walter, with his Mindful Meta, has a pre-sale starting Wednesday that ends on Sunday. The launch of their new token. Ladies and gentlemen, Wally / AI Wolf has been a long-time viewer of our show, and asks us. He doesn't pay us for this or anything. But we encourage you, if you're interested in looking at something new and a pre-sale, to go do your own research. Go see him, contact him directly, and decide for yourself if you'd like to do it. But just to let you know, he is around here a lot. He's not a come and go type person. You can always find him here watching our show. But if you need to ask questions of him and whatever projects that he's working on, I call Walter the hardest working man in crypto. Feel free to contact him directly and let him know that Pedro and Striking sent you.
Definitely. He's a good guy. He's got a cool story. Kind of came.
Yeah. Good to have you, brother.
Brother. Border. All right. Matic. We can do this tomorrow. We're seeing a bit of a pump here. All right, guys. I know Tom's got to get out of here. And but let's finish off just real quick the economic calendar. So Thursday, you have the initial jobless claims for the month, and then from there you're going to also have not necessarily 30-year bond. Depends on if there's enough sales. If there's more than enough demand, then which is the long-term end of the yield has been doing well. So lately, so it should probably have no issue. And then from there, that's about it as we go. So it's really going to be Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday. These numbers we want to be paying attention to. And then kind of go from there. Those days will probably be big. Expect the market if it's going up in the morning and into the report, expect it to see it sell off if that's what it's saying. If it's going down, expect it to go up. So be smart. Don't be don't be caught off guard. Go to investing.com economic calendar, and you'll be able to really kind of gauge what's happening and make sure that you're not stuck in a trade and get stopped out because you weren't paying attention to the reports. All right, so that's about it in a nutshell.
Hold on 1 second, Pedro. I got to re-log in to Rumble here. It kicked me out again in the middle of our stream. But we have one more ad that I'd like to read here. And that's, of course, it's summertime, Pedro, as you know. We do a lot of outdoor things. And if you do a lot of outdoor things, then maybe you want to get in with Caddy Sports. So all right, outdoor crew, if you're into fishing, camping, or getting off the grid, meet your new best friend, the Hunter Orange 25-quart cooler from Caddy Sports. This isn't your average cooler. It's roto-modeled for max durability. It's bear-proof and 20% lighter than any other brand. Yeti. So it's easier to haul whether you're deep in the backcountry or just setting up at the dock. Bear-proof. I'm interested in seeing this. We're gonna have to bring up their website next time we read an ad from them. You'll get up to 3 days of ice retention thanks to thick, high-performance insulation. That means cold drinks, fresh food, and fewer ice runs, whether you're chasing muttons offshore or posted up at the campsite. Best part, it's 40 to 50% cheaper than the big name coolers, but still built to perform season after season. I call Caddy Sports name brand gear. It's proudly made in the United States of America. Use code RUMBLE at checkout for a 10% off your order today. That's caddysports.com. Go grab Hunter Orange 25-quart cooler and keep your next adventure ice cold. Right next to me, ladies and gentlemen, there's a QR code. As I always say, click that. If you're watching on your TV, hold your phone up, go pop that, and let our advertisers know that you are an interactive point here. It really helps us out. It drives the algorithms to let us know we have an interactive audience and that you will buy more of their stuff. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Also in the comment section, there's a Learn More link in there as well. And thank you to Caddy Sports for sponsoring this segment of DYOR Live. All right, Pedro.
You know who likes to go out and really enjoy the outdoors? Military people. Military people. A lot of times you see them just enjoy the outdoors. And speaking of that, on August 8th, go to www.worldnftmarketplace.com to get your Red Friday NFT from Military Finance and related by me, only 0.5 BSC. I say that because that is our main, one of our main guys, Crypto Mike. He is a huge proponent for crypto, or he's a huge crypto guy, but he's huge for backing and helping out military people with PTSD and who go through a lot of hard times, and he helps fund them and takes care of them. So yeah, he's doing some NFTs there. So shout out to you, Mike. Yeah, it's cool. Only 50 created one-of-one pieces of art. That's cool.
Oh yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that's the end of the show today. Here we go, here we go. I love listening to this song. Every couple of months, just a new one gets my ear, and I bring it as the intro and outro to the show. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, Pedro and I had a good show today. A nice Monday, open to the week with some tariff news that was good news for the markets, causing BTC and Nasdaq to pump. Well, crypto market and the stock market to pump. Always a good way to start that week off. Like I said at the beginning of the show, however, if we're going up at the beginning of the week, we're going to go down at the end of the week. So maybe we can leverage that information and make some money day trading and scalping these instruments. And if you stay with us all week, Pedro will be letting you know how to do that. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming along. Tomorrow is Technical Tuesday, in which we go over the world's leading market indicators to let you know how the world is doing and how it affects your crypto bags, or at least educates you. So when you listen to the news media say the dollar is going down, it's awful, it's terrible, look, it was higher under someone else, and then you will know that sometimes the dollar going down is good for us because we can export more. But anyway, as I always say, my name is Tom, otherwise known as Striking, here in the digital media world. So glad to have hosted another show with my co-host Pedro Garcia, the crypto chart analyst, otherwise known as Pedro Damas. We will see you tomorrow, Technical Tuesday.
Heart swollen, soul's frozen, potion got me open. I can feel the bad omen, lost in this moment. flask full of Jack Love. At last I'm at peace with this vast blood. Only took a